All right, let's jump right in. We're going to explore an idea today that might just change how you think about a very, very common feeling.
Dissonance is not the enemy. It is the signal. This quote, it really gets to the heart of something we've all felt, right? That inner friction, that nagging sense that things are just off. We're usually taught to ignore that feeling, to push it down. But what if that's totally the wrong way to go about it?
I mean, what does it actually mean when the ground beneath your feet feels shaky? When the world you thought made sense suddenly doesn't? It's a really personal and honestly a pretty isolating experience. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack together in this explainer.
So, to really understand the signal, we have to face the noise first. We need to start by looking that feeling of inner turmoil and outer chaos right in the eye.
Yeah, chaos. It doesn't exactly knock politely. It feels more like an invasion, doesn't it? A force that just crashes into your life, no permission asked, and shatters the foundations you thought were rock solid.
And the result of that chaos is this feeling. You feel fractured. But see, this kind of chaos, it's rarely a sudden thing. It's usually the final result of all these little cracks we've been ignoring, spreading silently until the whole thing just gives way.
And that's why it feels so intensely personal. The chaos isn't just happening around you, it feels like it's happening inside of you. It's just like looking into a broken mirror. You see bits and pieces of yourself, these shattered reflections, but you can't see a coherent, whole person looking back.
So this brings us to a really crucial reframing. Dissonance, it's not some flaw in your character. It's not a sign that you failed. Think of it more like a notification, a message from the world and from yourself, saying, hey, something's out of alignment here, and it needs your attention.
Okay, so if that feeling of chaos is the signal, what is it pointing to? To figure that out, we actually need to zoom out, way out from our personal feelings, to a much bigger and frankly, a much more hopeful idea.
I know, this is a massive question, but it is the absolute key to turning our whole understanding of dissonance upside down. Just think about it. What if the chaos we feel is just one piece of a much larger system that is, believe it or not, fundamentally wired to make sense?
And this leads us to this incredible concept, complexity alignment. The basic idea is that the universe isn't just a random, chaotic mess. From the tiniest quantum particles to giant galaxies, it seems to have these built-in filters, like the laws of physics, that take all the infinite possibilities and guide them into stable, lasting patterns.
And if you want proof, you don't have to look very far. In fact, you are the proof. The very fact that you are here, thinking, feeling, being self-aware, it shows that out of all the potential for chaos, an unbelievably complex and coherent system, your own mind, was able to form and keep going. Your consciousness isn't some accident. It's a direct expression of this universal tendency towards order.
You can kind of think about this process in 3 steps. You start with the singularity, this realm of pure, infinite potential. Then comes a filter, things like the laws of nature, or, as we're about to see, our own principles that narrows down all those possibilities. And what comes out the other side is the plane, the stable, organized reality that we can actually experience.
So how do we connect the dots? How do we build a bridge from our personal feeling of chaos to this huge, cosmic logic of coherence? Well, this is where the real magic, the alchemy, happens.
We're basically faced with a choice, 2 very different paths. We can see dissonance as a failure, a sign that something is broken and we need to run away from it. Or we can see it as a signal, an invitation to lean in, to listen, to engage, and to really understand what needs to be brought back into alignment. So, if the universe uses physical laws as its filter, what are ours? Well, it turns out that things like honesty, empathy, and rational thinking, they aren't just nice moral ideas. They are actually structurally advantageous. They are incredibly powerful, practical tools that cut down on friction and filter complexity, guiding us toward more stable, more coherent, and ultimately better outcomes in our lives.
And this is the real payoff, that uncomfortable tension we feel, that dissonance. It's not actually a problem that needs to be fixed. It's the engine of our growth. It's the very energy source that pushes us to transform, to find a better alignment, and to create something new and better.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. This leads us to the final and most important part.
how do we actually live this way? How do we put all this theory into practice in our everyday lives?
And here it is, the fundamental shift in thinking you have to make. Being okay is not a final destination. It's not a place you get to and then you're done. Life is a dance. It's constant motion. The real goal is to stop fighting the music and instead learn how to move with it, to find your own rhythm in the flow of what is.
And you have to remember, this kind of progress is not a straight line. It's much more like a spiral. You'll find yourself circling back to familiar challenges, but here's the key. You're not the same person. Each time you come back around, you're engaging from a higher level of awareness. That's not a setback, it's actually a sign of really deep growth.
So when you feel stuck, when you feel paralyzed by all the chaos and dissonance, just remember this. Breaking that freeze doesn't take some massive, heroic effort. It just takes one small, intentional step. That's all you need to start building momentum. So, I want to leave you with this one last thought to chew on. What if we just completely reframed the goal? What if being okay isn't about reaching some static, perfect state of being, but instead it's about finding the courage to just stay on the dance floor, to engage with the music, to move with the rhythm, and to just keep dancing with the beautiful, messy, complicated, ever-unfolding song of life?